race really fun. I managed to reach the second place.
For me, the G1 series is really how racing should be done. It's the best place to race professionally, but still keeping close control over the costs.
Driving the G1 is amazing because it's a really powerful car. It's really easy to drive, so you feel immediately connected with the car. La macchina G1 è una macchina estremamente competitiva, anche messa a confronto con le altre categorie, più veloci di un Formula Renault e di un Formula 4.
The braking performance is amazing as well. It's a really good car. I enjoy driving it.
The technologies that Griiip provides me is what makes the series so special. I can access all my data at all times.
And I can also compare the data to other drivers, so I can find my weak points, but also my strong points, and you can improve a lot on the track.
L'altra tecnologia estremamente importante e innovativa è quella relativa alla visibilità, in cui i fan non solo possono seguire la gara live, ma possono seguire il loro pilota preferito grazie ai camera car, grazie alle videocamere che sono installate su ogni vettura.
One of the most unique things in the G1 series is the virtual races.
For every race, we actually race in the same track with the same drivers. When we get to the track, we can get the best out of it.
It's the only series that combines both virtual races and real races in the scoring system.
La G1 Series è un campionato estremamente interessante per tutti quei piloti che vogliono passare dal karting alla monoposto.
For the cost of a karting season, the G1 Series is one of the best places to improve my formula skills before moving on to next levels.
It was truly an amazing year and I just can't wait for next season.
It took 5 days to get client feedback. Now James only has 5 hours until launch. With Fiverr, it only took him 5 minutes to find Stephanie. Fiverr. Connect to a freelancer in under 5 minutes.
Unmuted, so and welcome to this fifth round of the Griiip G1 Virtual Series brought to you by World Pro Racing and Griiip. Today, as a broadcast director with us, we have Justin Mifsud. Commentary, we have Caitlin Penny. Race direction, it's me, Adrian Figallo, and this is steward also, we have George Muscat. So, we're gonna go now and have a look at the standings after round 4 of the Griiip G1 Virtual Series, and we can see that Kevin Siggy is leading with 183 points. In second place, there is Daniele Pasquale with 92 points. And in third place, Ross McFarlane, 69 points. Fourth place, Bernard Vella. Fifth place, Daniel Stremer. Sixth place, Kamil Franchak. Seventh place, Avi Markovic. Eighth place, Dean Vella. Ninth place, William Zerbini. And in 10th place, Danilo Smerillo. So, as I said, together with us today, we have Caitlin Penny. We're going to go straight now to watch the last couple of minutes of practice. And then we go straight to qualifications for race 1. On to you, Caitlin.
Thank you very much, Adrian. So, welcome everyone to the Verano circuit for round 5 out of 6 of the 2019 Griiip G1 Virtual Series with World Pro Racing. This Verano circuit, of course, I've been watching with intent. It's a very narrow, very twisty circuit. In fact, it's extremely narrow. Looking at it now, you'd be lucky to fit cars 3 wide on some of the sections of this course. And I was speaking to Dean Vella before this race, and he said that qualifying is going to be absolutely essential for track position here, especially seeing as we only have 10-minute races. Practice time is almost up, but the official practice time is currently being topped by Kevin Siggy, who could very well claim the championship today. In fact, all he needs to score to claim the championship today is 8 points over the next 2 races. So that means that if Daniele Pasquale scores fewer than 41 points more than Kevin Siggy, then he will have lost the championship. Kevin Siggy would have claimed it, and it would definitely be Kevin Siggy who will get the prize of testing the Griiip G1 car in reality. Realistically, it's probably going to happen today. 42 points more than Siggy is not an easy tally to amass, and Pasquale will know that all he can really do is drive his own race, and if something happens to Siggy, then it does, and he might still stand a chance. But if everything goes okay with Siggy, the chance he will claim the championship today. He has been utterly dominant so far this series, winning 7 7 out of the first 8 races. The only other driver to win a race so far this year has been Avi Markovic, who won last time out, when Siggy ended up getting spun out of the lead. So really not much opportunity for other drivers to pick up the spoils in this series. Kevin Siggy absolutely has it, and today he could well put a stamp on that for good and claim it mathematically as well as realistically. We've already seen the championship standings with Siggy at the top from Pasquale, McFarlane, Vella and Streamer. And in terms of the order at the minute on the practice server, we have Siggy at the top from Pasquale, Bernard Vella, then Smurillo, Streamer, Markovic, Vella, Zabini, Stavari and Santos, the top 10. Talking of that, we also have 14 drivers here today. Unfortunately, it's the smallest grid that we've had so far this season, but by no means does that make it any less entertaining, as we've seen the Griiip G1 car providing some fantastic races in the past, no matter how many drivers are on the grid and no matter how many are still remaining in the race. The checkered flag has now come out on the practice session, and that means we are preparing for the start of qualifying. Kevin Siggy just saw the checkered flag there, and he set a personal best lap of 1 minute 1 second 0.952. So that was that from Kevin Siggy. It's a very short track, but that's exactly how you do it quickly. In fact, at the start of quali, I will want to ride on board with one of the cars to show you this this Verano circuit in Italy. Of course, all of the tracks we race at with World Pro Racing are in with Griiip G1 World Pro Racing are in Italy, and Verano, of course, the latest installment, round 5 of our 6-round series. Just 1.5 minutes to go until the start of the qualifying session here today, and you have to say it's going to be a long shout if you are going to call anyone but Kevin Siggy for the pole position here today. He set a time over 0.163 ahead of anyone else in that practice session there, and that may not sound like a lot, but when it comes to a 1 minute track, that is quite a decent chunk of time. So a great lap from Kevin Siggy. He was fastest in all 3 sectors, and he will be hoping to do exactly the same thing in qualifying session coming up now. Don't be fooled though into thinking that this is going to be a boring race just because Kevin Siggy has been so dominant so far this year. There's no guarantee that he's going to get off the line well. There's no guarantee that he's going to be able to hold the lead throughout this race. And even if he does, there's no guarantee that things aren't going to go on behind him. We've seen some cracking midfield races here with World Pro Racing all season long, all through the 8 races and 4 rounds that we've watched so far this season. We've been to Imola, we've been to Maggioni, we've been to Mugello, and last time out we went to Vallelunga, and now we're at the Verano circuit. We'll see exactly what this race has to offer, and of course we have to look forward to the race in 2 weeks' time as well, the championship finale, and that of course will be taking place in just 2 weeks' time. But for now, the qualifying session has started, and the drivers are out on the circuit for the first time. When we go into a flying lap, I want to ride on board with Bernard Vella. I believe he was... No, ignore that. Danilo Smurillo was the first on track, so let's watch Danilo as he rounds this course. It looks as if he's actually swapped places with Vella, so scratch that, sorry. We'll watch Vella. He will be the first driver to take us onto a flying lap here at the Verano circuit. He just has a couple of corners left to go, and then we will see this track in proper anger for the very first time. Here he comes round the back end of the course, and through the final chicane, the Nuova Variante, sorry, before heading down towards the first corner, which is a left-hander. Sorry, this is Nuova Variante. I was getting confused. It's a left-right chicane before heading up to the Parabolica, which is a left-hand hairpin. It's important to get a perfect exit to this corner because you then have to shoot down an extremely long start-finish straight. Here we go. And then towards a couple of S's. This is the first S bend. left, and then right. And it's very point and squirt now as you head towards the second S-bend, which is right and then left. Over the curve on the outside, the grass is right by the edge of the curb, so make sure you don't make a mistake there. That is where the Jackie Ick chicane would be, but we're not using the chicane here today. Before you head into the Ferro di Carvalho, and then at Torrentino, a right-hand, what would have been a right-hand hairpin in recent years, but now heads into a quick flick to end the lap. So that was a lap of the Verano circuit, also known as the Autodromo Riccardo Paletti, named after Riccardo Paletti, who was the Acela Formula One driver back in the 1982 season, who was unfortunately killed in an accident with Didier Pironi at the Canadian Grand Prix in 1982. It's great that they've named the track after him, and it's great that we're watching cars going around it today. Bernard Vella's lap, incidentally, the one that we just watched, was a 1:02.813, but that's immediately been beaten by Ross McFarlane and Kevin Siggy, with Siggy's best lap currently being a 1:02.372. However, Siggy has just set the fastest time in the first sector again, and is improving his lap with another quicker sector. It's quickest in the second sector, so Kevin Siggy on a flyer. Here he goes through what used to be Torrentino, back when it was a hairpin. It's been reprofiled since, and then the final chicane catapults you onto the start-finish straight, and it's fastest in all three sectors. It's a 1:02.062 for Kevin Siggy. Not quite as good as what he did in practice, but it is an improvement. His championship rival, meanwhile, has just set the fastest second sector time of anyone, although he's 2 tenths down in the first sector. And it's all coming down to what he can do in the third. Here he comes onto the start-finish straight, and Pasquale crosses the line to go second with a 1:02.489, although that's still over 4 tenths of a second off Daniele Pasquale. That's quite a way back, or off Kevin Siggy rather. That's quite a way back as it stands, and not a great time. And I think a lot of that would have occurred in the first sector, as he's 3 tenths off what Siggy just did there. Siggy has just set another fastest first sector and a new personal best second sector too. So here he comes out to the final corner, and this should be another personal best time and another pole position for Kevin Siggy. It's a 1:01.912, and that's not quite faster than what he did in practice, but it is an extremely quick lap. Pasquale was going quicker, but he's backed out of it. Meanwhile, Danilo Smarillo goes up into third place with a 1:02.500. So the times are tumbling at this point in the session. However, a brilliant lap from Kevin Siggy has put him on provisional pole position by over half a second. The gap is 0.577. That's a massive margin between Siggy and Pasquale there. And the Slovenian continues to lead from the two Italian drivers of Pasquale and Smarillo. So Ross McFarlane now improving on his time. He's going about a tenth of a second up in the second sector. Of course, this track has the shortest sector times of any track on our calendar, because I believe it is the shortest track of any track on our calendar. Out to the final corner comes Ross McFarlane. This should put him second, I expect. Yeah, there he goes. 1:02.394. That's second place for Ross McFarlane. Less than half a second off the leader, but still over 4 tenths of a second off. So still a massive gap between Siggy and McFarlane at the top there. And I'm interested to see why Daniele Pasquale hasn't been able to set a time anywhere near what he did in practice just yet. Surely there's more to come from Daniele Pasquale. Meanwhile, Ross McFarlane was improving on his lap more, but he went over the curb a little bit at the first S-bend. And if your wheels leave the track for just a split second, like we just saw from McFarlane there, often that's just the slight lapse in grip required for you to lose a tenth of a second and throw away your lap time. But whatever the case, he will get another opportunity. That's the great thing about a short track. You get plenty of opportunities to go quicker, and it means that a little mistake isn't necessarily going to cost you everything. Whoa, new fastest first sector for Daniele Pasquale, fastest of anyone. He's 4/10 up on his best. This is a real challenge at pole position here for Daniele Pasquale. Let's watch him as he comes towards the final sector of the course. This is Jackie Ickx Bend. He's going through there to the left, named after the Belgian F1 driver Jackie Ickx, runner-up in the F1 Championship in 1972. Now through the or 71 rather. Now through the final chicane, and this is a real challenge for pole position for Daniele Pasquale as he crosses the line, and it's just off by less than 1/10 of a second. 1:01.989. I told you he had more to give, and he does give it there. Brilliant lap from Daniele Pasquale, but still not quite close enough for that pole position. Kevin Siggy sets the fastest second time of anyone. Is this going to be a personal best for him as he crosses the line? No, not quite. He's off by less than 1/10 of a second. So incredibly close times at the top of the time there, at the top of the timesheet, and they continue to tumble as the session continues. Very, very close between Siggy and Pasquale, and as we've got just over 2 minutes remaining in the session, it's Siggy from Pasquale, McFarlane, Smerillo, Vella, Streamer, Markovic, Vella, Zabini and Santos, the top 10. Meanwhile, Kevin Siggy's already taking another 2/10 of his lap. He's set another purple sector in the first sector there. This is Kevin Siggy showing us a real masterclass here as he exits Jackie Ickx Bend and sets another purple sector, fastest second of anyone. Kevin Siggy about to set a phenomenal lap, if he can hold it together. Phenomenal, I should say. Out to the final corner, and this is going to be in the 101.7s. Here he comes across the line, and it's a 101.733. A fantastic lap from Kevin Siggy, and surely that's unbeatable. I can't see anyone going any faster than that this time around. Meanwhile, Daniele Smerillo might well be putting together a challenge for third on the grid here. As he's coming out to the final corner, this could jump Ross McFarlane for third as he crosses the start-finish line, and it does. It's a 102.206 for Daniele Smerillo in the second Morning Stars Academy car. The other one, of course, Daniele Pasquale, and then those two, along with Bernard Vella, who is in 5th position, who, ignore me, is not racing for Morning Stars Academy. I don't know why I thought that. So as the session continues, Daniele Smerillo setting a new personal best in the first sector, and could be on his way to a brand new personal best as well. I should clean up, of course, that Bernard Vella is racing for KEC Racing Esports. There is no teams championship, but it's good to give credit to the teams nonetheless. The other Morning Stars Academy car that's been racing, well, this is Alberto Spitaleri, but he doesn't appear to be here today. Out to the final corner comes Smerillo, and he got slightly over the curb on the outside, so no improvement, but he's going to get one more chance, as is Kevin Siggy, but Siggy's 2/10 down in the first sector, so he's not going to get another chance, and neither's Pasquale, so neither of those two at the top of the order are going to go again, and neither Smerillo, because he's just backed off his lap. I'm most interested in Ross McFarlane. Can he get back up into third position in this session towards the end here, as he comes into the S-bends there? He's got slight traffic up ahead, and that wasn't a great second sector, so maybe not an improvement for Ross McFarlane, although he's still pretty close to his lap, although he needs to find 2/10 of a second to jump ahead of Daniele Smerillo, and that's not looking very likely, especially seeing he's getting caught up behind another car, although that won't cost him too much time actually. In fact, he may well improve if he gets a good exit to the final chicane, although I don't think it's going to be enough for third place, and as he crosses the line, it is no improvement for Ross McFarlane. Oh wait, it was an improvement, but not by much. Avi Markovic jumps up to 5th place while I speak. Is anyone else going up on their times? It doesn't look like it. So that is the end of the qualifying session. It's another pole position going the way of Kevin Siggy Rebenak at the top of the times with a 101.733. Fantastic lap by 0.256. From Daniele Pasquale and Danilo Smarillo, then it's Ross McFarlane, Avi Markovic, Bernard Vella, Daniel Streamer, William Zabini, Dean Vella, Josef Stavare, the top 10, then Santos, Master Martino, Ubaldi, and Charachati make up the 14 drivers racing with us today. That's the grid, and we now have a very short waiting time before the first race.
Yeah, we're going for a short break and we'll be back with you.
A really good race, really fun. I managed to reach the second place. And here we're back. We're like 20 seconds away from the start of race one of today at Varano track for this fifth round of the G1 Series Virtual Championship. On to you.
Indeed we are. just 7 seconds to go. It's Siggy and Pasquale, the championship contenders, on the front row of the grid, and when the lights go out, we will be underway as we are now. Go! Off we go at the start of the field, and it's Kevin Siggy leading us away. He gets a fantastic start, a fantastic launch ahead of Daniele Pasquale. Really, really impressive getaway. Oh, Smerillo spun, and he's taken off McFarlane. A big mistake there for Danilo Smerillo, and they're both off at the back there from 3rd and 4th on the grid. So a real dramatic shuffle of the order, and Michael Santos is off in all of that as well. So a couple of cars taken off in one mistake there, and it's Siggy leading from Pasquale, and 3rd to trip the beam is Avi Markovic from 5th on the grid. So Markovic 5th, and I'll read out the rest of the order after this lap. I believe it's Daniel Streamer in 4th position, and as we continue to streak around the course, the championship contenders are at the front. That's exactly what we hope to see here today. A close fight between the two best drivers in the series, and as the lap draws to a close, we'll see exactly where the two other drivers who are at the front of the field, Smerillo and McFarlane, have dropped to. As we cross the start finish line, it's Siggy who crosses the beam first, just 0.748 ahead of Daniele Pasquale. Then Markovic, Streamer, Zabini, Vella, Smerillo, Vella. Sorry, ignore me. It's Pasquale, Markovic, Streamer, Zabini, Dean Vella ahead of Bernard Vella now. Then Stavari, Mastro Martino, Ubaldi, and McFarlane has dropped to 12th, and Smerillo's dropped to 15th. We've actually gained Gianluigi Grau, who didn't qualify, but is in the race now, so that's good to see. But yeah, a couple of mistakes on the opening lap of the race, and a couple of drivers, unfortunately, very much out of position. So that is an unfortunate development. But as we continue on our way, they continue to streak around in the order that they were in at the end of lap 1. Of course, this is just a 10-minute race, so not many opportunities to make overtakes. They have to get it done as quickly as they possibly can. Change for 12th place there. That's McFarlane there fighting with Ubaldi. Sorry, that's a change for 10th place. McFarlane passing Ubaldi and getting the move done, and that's important seeing as it's the top 10 cars that score points in this series. And also Smerillo and Charachati side by side for 13th. Smerillo gets that one to stick on his recovery drive. Oh, someone else is off at the back there. Let me go back to see who that is. But yeah, there was definitely someone going slightly skew-if, and it was Gianluigi Carrao, who didn't have the benefit of qualifying, and didn't know what this track was like unless he practiced before. I'm not sure if he did. I should point out that actually no one knows where round 6 of the championship is going to be held, as it hasn't been announced yet. It's going to be announced a week before the race, so a week from now, and that's going to be a really interesting one. It could be any racetrack, probably one in Italy, but yeah, no use in speculating. The two Vellas are having a fantastic battle. I saw Bernard Vella taking a real look at at Dean Vella coming out of the final corner there. I don't believe they're related, last time I asked, so indeed the two Vellas nonetheless still fighting, and Bernard there taking another look as they head down the back straight out of the Parabolica, and darts to the inside and gets it done into the S's. And is Dean going to be able to come back to him? Not there, so that was a good solid move there from Bernard to make it stick. And the gap for the lead has already been pulled out to 1.7 seconds. So indeed, Kevin Siggy really building up his lead. And if he was to win this race, he would also win the championship. So this is a really dramatic result for Kevin Siggy. And if he was to win it, then that would be the best way he could possibly win the championship. The best style that he could do it in. And he will certainly be wanting to pull that off today. fight for 4th place going on between Streamer and Zabini. When they crossed the start-finish line, they were separated by only half a second. Oh, as the two Velas go side by side again. So Dean did come back at Bernard, and now he's having another look at him, exactly where Bernard overtook Dean just a lap ago. Can Dean pull the same move on Bernard? He's taking a look to the outside, trying to force Bernard into a mistake. Oh my goodness, great move. He's held it on the outside, he's taken the inside for the next corner. Bernard's come back at him though, and he's got the switch back, and Dean holds on, slight wheel to wing contact. Fantastic move there from Dean Vella. You have to say, that was great racing. And credit to him for holding on to that afterwards as well. I was wondering whether Bernard was going to get straight back at him, and he couldn't quite pull it off. They're also, spin behind, and that was Joseph Stavare. So Stavare goes Griiip, and it seems that he's been passed by Ross McFarlane for 8th position in all of that as well. So he loses a position. I was going to point out actually that it's close between Zabini and Streamer over 4th place, and I'm surprised that Zabini hasn't had a chance to attack Streamer just yet. That looked as if it was going to be absolutely on a lap ago. As meanwhile Smurillo passes Santos for 10th. Santos comes back at him but goes wide, and Smurillo gets back underneath him and goes back through into 10th position. Back up to the fight in the midfield. We've got Streamer and Zabini nose to tail for 4th and 5th, and then Vella and Vella, confusingly, nose to tail for 6th and 7th. Let us know who you're cheering for in the YouTube chat if you're watching along with us. Hello to Maya Koronyak, I hope I pronounced that correctly, who says, hashtag go Kev, my boy. Of course, that would be Kevin Siggy, who is on his way to the Griiip G1 Series Championship. And this, of course, Series 1, the inaugural series of the Griiip G1 Virtual Series. Series 2 has been announced. We don't know any of the dates yet, but it has been announced, and it will be held on R-Factor 2. So we're moving away from the Assetto Corsa side of things for the very first time with World Pro Racing, and we will be heading to R-Factor 2, which is a highly proclaimed sim, and one that I've commentated on and used quite a bit before, and one that I like a lot. And it's great to see us going to R-Factor 2 for the next series, but for now we are on Assetto Corsa, which is a very good sim in its own right, of course. And meanwhile, Kevin Siggy sets the fastest lap of the race in a time that would have given him 2nd place in qualifying. My goodness, brilliant fastest lap of the race there for Kevin Siggy. Meanwhile, we just had a slight change of position, and I'm slightly confused as to who it was. I believe it was Smurillo getting past Stavare for 9th place. Yes, it was. So Smurillo passing Stavare for 9th and making it stick. Of course, Smurillo, one of the drivers who went off on the opening lap. It seemed that he triggered the opening lap carnage. Although, of course, the stewards will look at it after the race. Zabini dropped back a little bit from Streamer there. He didn't take a great line through the second S-bend while trying to hunt him down, and he's probably going to be over a second behind him now. Yeah, so that might be that for the race, as we have less than 2 minutes left, not 2 seconds left in the race. Otherwise, I would be proclaiming Kevin Siggy champion right now. But the race continues. And I think the closest fight, and the one I still want to keep my eyes on, is the one between the two Velas. Meanwhile, the gap for the lead has been brought out to 2 seconds. Kevin Siggy running away with this, and this is the perfect way to claim a championship. But back to the Velas, they're actually coming under attack, or they might be coming under attack in the last lap of the race from Ross McFarlane. He's definitely gaining time on them, definitely getting closer and closer, and might well have a chance to attack later on in the race. Oh, Siggy ran slightly wide there in the Jackie, that's not the Jackie Expend, that's Torrentino, but kept it under control. I was wondering whether he was going to put 2 wheels into the grass, but managed to keep control of it all. As he heads now onto the final lap of the race, and final lap of the competitive championship as well. We still have 3 races to go in this league after this one, but for the actual championship fight, it's over, or it will be over at the end of this lap. Kevin Siggy just has half a minute now to go until he can claim the Griiip G1 Series Championship, unofficially of course, but it is pretty much guaranteed through the final sector of the course. He's entering the final sector now. It's been a dominant performance. He won both races in Imola. He won both races in Magione. He won both races in Mugello. He won both races in Vallelunga, and now he is going to win the first race here at Verano, and with it the championship, the Griiip G1 championship, goes to Kevin Siggy Rubenak. Absolutely brilliant, and he sets fastest lap as he crosses the line as well. What a style, what a stylish performance Kevin Siggy Rubenak has. He wins, followed by Daniele Pasquale, who put up a valiant fight season long, but has to settle for second. Then it's Avi Markovic in third, Daniel Streamer fourth, William Zabini in fifth. He is going to be followed home by Dean Vella, Bernard Vella, Ross McFarlane. Danilo Smurillo will claim 9th position after spinning away on the first lap and costing him a podium. Josef Stavare claims the final point in 10th position. And then outside of the points, Michael Santos crosses the line in 11th. And we're still waiting for Yuri Mastro Martino, who appears to be having a couple of lag issues, as he crosses the line in 12th. Federico Ubaldi is 13th, there he goes. Filippo Charachati is 15th, he crosses the line now, and 14th rather, and 15th place was Gianluigi Carrao, who unfortunately only did 3 laps. So that is the race, and that is the championship. Kevin Siggy has won it, and a fantastic performance. He will be undoubtedly ecstatic at that, and of course deservedly so. What a champion is Kevin Siggy. So don't go anywhere, of course. We still have one more race coming up today and a qualifying session to determine the grid order for those races. The championship may be over, but the series isn't, and we still have 3 races to go, with one more being held in just a couple of minutes. So don't go anywhere. Can anyone Can anyone beat Kevin Siggy in the second race today? Of course, Siggy now has nothing to lose, so you might as well just go for it and have fun. But I suppose he also has nothing to win, so I suppose it will also just be a close, exciting race. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. We're going for a short break now, and we'll be back with you very shortly.
A really good race, really fun. I managed to reach the second place.
So we're back now with the second qualifying of today here at Verano Circuit for this 5th round of the Griiip Virtual Series.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to qualifying for race 2 for the Griiip G1 Virtual Series. Sorry if I cut you off there, Adrian. I thought you'd stop speaking. Did you have something else to say?
No, that's fine. Actually, I was gonna say to get here with us escaping.
Ah, okay. Well, I think I took the words right out of your mouth then. Indeed, qualifying has begun for the second race. We just witnessed Kevin Siggy winning the first one, and with it the championship. And now we are continuing on with the Griiip G1 Virtual Series. 3 races to go, 1 more today, and 9 minutes to go in qualifying. So, on to a lap. I believe the first driver to start a lap is going to be Danilo Smurillo, as he takes again around the Verano circuit in Italy. The Verano circuit, Autodromo Riccardo Paletti, to give it its full name. And let's ride on board with him as he goes around the circuit. We've seen it once, but let's take this opportunity to refresh ourselves on how this circuit looks from on board. It takes a lot of concentration to be quick around a technical circuit like this. It may be point and squirt, but at the same time, you have to focus on getting those apexes and getting those exits. And the grass is right by the edge of the circuit, so you can't make a mistake. Otherwise, you're going to be just sucked off and into the gravel or the wall. The lap record here is actually, well, I don't believe there is an official one, because I don't see a lap record that was set without the Jackie Ick chicane. We're not running the Jackie Ick chicane today, but with the chicane, Cesar Ramos currently holds the lap record in the Italian Formula 3 Championship, although the previous layout of the circuit was actually the domain of a certain Nico Rosberg, taking the lap record in a Formula 3 car. But here in the Griiip G1 series, there's no one who can really match Kevin Siggy Rebenak, who took pole position for race 1. And let's watch Kevin Siggy Rebenak now as he heads to his first flying lap. He's just started it now, and this is the first lap from a newly crowned champion. Here he goes through Torrentino. Sorry, that's Parabolica. Torrentino is later in the lap. And now onto the back straight, where you can get a slight breather, just recollect your thoughts before you head into the S-bends. Perfect line through the S-bends for Kevin Siggy. Currently at the top of the time is Danilo Smurillo, although Siggy looks as if he's about to knock him off there. It's Smurillo followed by Pasquale and Zabini, so it's an Italian 1-2-3 so far. And Siggy sets the fastest second sector time of anyone so far. Here he comes through Torrentino and then the final chicane. And out onto the start-finish straight and across the line. And it's a 1:02.358. Come on, Kevin, you can take a whole half a second off that. 0.6 maybe. But whatever the case, still a very impressive time from Kevin Siggy. Although nowhere near his best, and he will definitely be going quicker when he gets a chance. Pasquale was going quicker in the first sector. He set the fastest first sector of anyone, but he got held up in traffic towards the end of the lap. And that, I believe, would have been, well, I'm not quite sure, but it was someone there slightly getting in his way. But whatever the case, they continue on. And Pasquale is about to start another flying lap. Here he goes. So as we near the halfway mark in qualifying, it's still Siggy leading from Smurillo, Pasquale, Zabini and Streamer. If you're just tuning in now, Kevin Siggy won race 1 and with it the championship. And we've now started qualifying for race 2. Ross McFarlane is obviously very disappointed with his race 1 and how it ended for him, as he's posted a very upsetting GIF in, emoji rather, in the YouTube chat. Understandable though, he must be disappointed with getting taken out at turn 1 by a spinning Danilo Smurillo. Anto also comments, I just came here and you have the sweetest commentator voice I've ever heard. Oh, thank you, Anto. That's really nice for you to say. That's something that not many people have ever said before, but whatever the case, yeah. Meanwhile, I should get back to the racing, as Daniele Pasquale is setting that's a personal best there. It's a 102.209, which provisionally gives him pole position. Although now let's switch back to Kevin Siggy Rebenak, because he's about to chuck that out of the park. Here he comes across the start-finish line, and oh, he beats it by 1,000th of a second. It's 1,000th of a second that separates first from second there. Siggy first from Pasquale second, and it's a 102.208. And Pasquale responds with the fastest first sector of anyone, and he's found himself in traffic again, just as he did on his first qualifying lap there. He finds himself in traffic, and he's going to be getting so frustrated at this. Luckily, it is a short track, meaning he's going to get another chance and another attack at that pole position. But for now, yeah, just getting slightly caught out. I'm a little bit surprised that the qualifying times are so relatively slow in this session so far. The drivers are currently lapping about half a second slower than they did in the first qualifying session. So, well, I can't imagine it would be fatigue after race 1, because it was only a 10-minute race. But anyway, whatever the case, they're still not being able to put in the laps that they were in the first qualifying session. The track conditions haven't changed, not that I can see. Bernard Vella about to come through to set his personal best. That should put him up to 4th if he's good enough out of the final corner. Across the line, oh, not quite, just about misses out on 4th there, stays 5th, but does improve on his lap. Avi Markovic is about to take 2/10 off his, it seems, as he comes through the final sector now. Final chicane for him. Don't take too much curb, otherwise you're going wide on the exit. There's a gravel trap there waiting to catch you. He does improve, but doesn't quite beat Vella to 5th. Siggy set a personal best first sector, but backed off. So, and he's in traffic. My goodness, traffic seeming to be a really big story in this race so far, this qualifying session so far. Maybe that's the sole reason that the drivers aren't going as quickly as they were in the first qualifying session. Bernard Vella about to come through. Can he improve on his lap? It looks as if he's going to. Can he finally jump ahead of Zabini? He almost did on the last attempt, and it looks as if he will this time around. That will put him up to 4th, and the second row of the grid. There he goes, 4th place for Bernard Vella. Just a couple of hundredths of a second of Danilo Smurillo in 3rd place. We may well see more to come from Bernard Vella. Less than a minute and a half to go in this qualifying session as of now. And not many more opportunities for drivers at the head of the field to go any quicker. I should remind you, we're separated at the top of the times by 1,000th of a second. That's all that separates first from second here at the minute. And the reason I didn't make a big deal of that at first was because I thought that those times would very quickly fall, but I'm really surprised they haven't. This may well end up being the order. Pasquale, however, is about to start a new lap. He's only just ahead on track of Kevin Siggy. So this is going to be a qualifying shootout right at the end. They're both going to get one more opportunity. You can see them in the same shot. Daniele Pasquale starts his lap. Through the first chicane he goes. Kevin Siggy in hot pursuit. Through the Parabolica turn now. There's slight traffic up ahead that's going to aid them down the straight, but he's hoping they don't get too close into the corners. First sector time done. Pasquale doesn't set a personal best. Siggy does. This is looking much better for Kevin Siggy, and Pasquale's in traffic again, and that looks like the same car that held him up earlier. Oh no! He's going to be furious. Kevin Siggy is going to take pole position, and Pasquale just couldn't find clean air. He could have gone so much faster than his personal best, but just got held up every single time he tried. Gutting for Daniele Pasquale, although second place on the grid really isn't a bad effort. Siggy takes pole position. Let's watch more drivers coming through to see if anyone can gain any places. Avi Markovic is going quickly. He's 7th at the minute, but less than 1/10 of a second to gain on William Zabini for 6th place. And he's not too far off Ross McFarlane in 5th either. So he might still be on for a top 5, although that final sector there wasn't great. And as he crosses the line, he does not improve, slightly off his best there. Is anyone else going faster? That looks to be it. So Kevin Siggy, our newly crowned champion, is on pole position with a 102.208. He's followed by Daniele Pasquale, Danilo Smirillo. So that means the top three is exactly the same as it was in race 1. And then it's Vela, McFarlane, Sabini, Markovic, Streamer, Vela, Carrao, Tavare, Santos, Master Martino, Baldi, Ubaldi rather, and then Charachati, the 15 drivers who make up the Griiip G1 Virtual Series grid.
So we're going for a short commercial break and we'll be back very soon for the second race.
A really good race, really fun. I managed to reach the second place.
And we're back 50 seconds away from the start of the second race of today. On to you.
Thank you very much. We're about to start. It's going to be Siggy and Pasquale on the front row of the grid, from Smurillo and Vela on the second row. Hopefully we get a cleaner start to the race than we did in race 1, and we hope that it's going to be just as enjoyable as race 1 was. Hello to everyone joining us in the YouTube chat. You're welcome to it. I'm your commentator, Caitlin Penny, and this is the Griiip G1 Virtual Series from World Series by Renault 50. World Pro Racing. What the heck? I'm back in 2005. My goodness. Anyway, the lights are about to come on. 6 red lights, and when they go out, we will be underway for race 2 here with World Pro Racing. There you go. And go. Away we go. 10 minutes of racing underway, and it's another fantastic start from Kevin Siggy Rebenak at the front. Daniele Pasquale is in second position. It's looking very much like the first start, but luckily the second row of the grid gets through cleanly this time, and it seems the whole grid may have got through cleanly. Yes, we have done, so very, very good. Anyway, onto the back straight we go. This is where the slipstreaming may come into effect, and this is where it really matters for the drivers at the head of the field. Ross McFarlane challenging for 4th place. He's getting past Danilo Smurillo there, as Bernard Vela's up to 3rd already. So Vela 3rd from McFarlane 4th and Smurillo 5th, and they're heading through the second S-bend now towards the end of the lap. So a fantastic start from Bernard Vela. He's gained places to go up into 3rd position, and Smurillo has actually lost 2 places, although that's better than spinning out like he did in race 1. I believe that we've had an issue at the back with Felipe Charachati. Indeed, he doesn't appear to still be in this race, so that's a shame. But at the end of the first lap, Siggy leads us through from Pasquale. Oh, it's close for second, and Smurillo's off. No, that was Massidov, I believe. I'm a little bit confused by that, but whatever the case, indeed, it's I think McFarlane who lost out there. So it's Vela in 3rd place, followed by Vela 3rd, Smurillo, then Zabini and McFarlane. There you go, sorry, sorting it out there. It seemed that 2 cars went side by side into turn 1, and there was a sort out where 2 of them went over the grass and the gravel, and that's the order as it currently stands. Sorry that I couldn't really keep up with that. Zabini's run wide. Here comes McFarlane on the inside. Does Zabini see him? He does, and that's good. I was wondering whether there was going to be more carnage there, but luckily they all make it through. Markovic looking all over their rear ends as well. And, oh no, there is slight contact, and McFarlane goes sideways, and he's going to be absolutely distraught over that, because he was horrified about race 1, and now he's dropped all the way down into 9th position. That's a really unfortunate situation for Vela after being touched by Zabini. And, oh, and off! Someone's going off. Who's that facing backwards? I believe it's Mike, is it Daniel Streamer? It is. So Streamer has spun at turn 1, and goes into the gravel. It seemed there was contact, possibly with Josef Stavare. It certainly seemed that way. Stavare's up to 7th in all of the chaos. Managed to pass Dean Vela and Ross McFarlane in all of that. And unfortunately, Streamer came off worse out of all of that. And Stavare is now leading a chain of cars through. That's Stavare from McFarlane, Vela, and Santos for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th positions. 5th place as well is a fight between Zabini and Markovic. Meanwhile, the leaders are staying close, but it's so hard to know exactly where to look in a race like this one. I personally am looking at Markovic as he takes a slight look at Zabini into turn 1, and doesn't make it stick quite that time around. But definitely close. And remember, he needs to pull a move soon, because this is only a 10-minute race, meaning everything you do is absolutely vital. McFarlane there taking a look at Stavare, almost getting alongside him through the Parabolica and onto the back straight. He's going to have to settle for the slipstream. Here he goes up the inside of the first S-bend, and this is not going to work this time around. He's hoping for the switchback, but Stavare covers it off nicely. This is probably the best I've ever seen Josef Stavare drive, although he's got over the curb on the outside of the second S-bend there. And as we head through Jackie Ick's corner, McFarlane is on the inside, and he's got through. Stavari had to go to the outside, got slightly out of the rhythm, almost lost a place to Vela in this contact. He gets tipped sideways, and it looks, oh my word, and they're still making contact, and that's extremely clumsy there, as they were rubbing wheels for 3 corners. And Stavari gets back past Vela, but not in the cleanest of ways. The stewards are going to be busy tonight, but whatever the case, and off goes Stavari on the outside. Does everyone get through cleanly? Stavari gets back on ahead of Vela, although not ahead of Santos, so Santos up into 8th now. My goodness, what a sort out. Someone else has spun, and that's Gianluigi Carrao. So Gianluigi Carrao there facing backwards, but returns to the race, and Santos and Stavari are side by side, and Santos forces Stavari wide. Here comes Team Vela to capitalise on it. He slots between the two of them, then Stavari goes off again, and someone else is spinning, and I didn't quite see who that was. It was Daniel Streamer again, so Streamer facing backwards as he was just a couple of laps ago. Vela is 8th, followed by Santos, then Stavari. Carrao is... And there's been a change for 3rd. Smurillo has passed Bernard Vela for 3rd place. I didn't see quite how that happened, but indeed, Danilo Smurillo has got back up into 3rd place. That's where he qualified, of course. And it's only taken him, well, it's taken him less than 6 minutes to get back past Vela, so not a bad effort there from Danilo Smurillo, despite the unfortunate start. So as they continue on their way, still no move for 5th place between Zabini and Markovic. That's one that I thought was going to change before long. Streamer's off again, so Streamer's having a nightmare of a time so far, and losing out to Yuri Mastromartino. And somehow they continue on. I believe, well, we have 14 drivers left in the race. I believe that Cherachati went out on the first lap. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but whatever the case, 14 of our 15 starters continuing. And at this point in the race, with just over 3 minutes remaining, it's Siggy leading from Pasquale, then Smurillo, Vela, Zabini, Markovic, McFarlane, and then Dean Vela. Santos and Stavari are the top 10 so far. Although still plenty can change. We've seen just how unpredictable this race is so far. And Josef Stavari's had a spin. So Stavari's gone off from 10th position, the last points paying place, and he's just been passed by Gianluigi Carrao, who had a spin earlier on. So Carrao goes back through, and the drivers all throughout this order don't seem to like facing the right direction so far in this race, it seems. Kevin Siggy Rybnak sets the fastest lap of the race. That's much quicker than his pole time. That shows just how much the drivers push in this 10-minute race. Because it is such a short race, they can afford to set qualifying laps the entire way through, especially if you're right at the front of the field, as Kevin Siggy is. And Kevin Siggy continues to lead us around. The gap for the lead, 1.9 seconds, almost 2 seconds as it stands. But still, they fight further back, with Markovic trying to slipstream Zabini, trying to reel him in, as he has been doing the last couple of laps. But the gap's been remaining relatively stationary, relatively stagnant between the two. At about a second, that being the closest fight in the field so far. He'll definitely be in slipstreaming range, but not quite close enough to attack at any point, and that's a really frustrating situation for a driver, because it's quite difficult to follow the car ahead when you're in that position. So just a couple of laps to go now. I believe we will have one lap after this one in this race, and next time out, of course, in 2 weeks' time, we will be heading to an unknown circuit. The location for the final round has not yet been announced, and that's a really interesting dynamic for this championship. I don't think I've ever seen that done before in any league. The full calendar not quite being announced, but whatever the case, it certainly builds the tension. personally, I'd love to see a slipstreaming race at Monza, but of course, there's no guarantee that's where it will be, and I'd be fine if it was any other track, because Griiip G1s provide some fantastic racing no matter where you are. Meanwhile, Daniel Streamer has just passed Joseph Stavari. Stavari was attacking the back of Yuri Mastro Martino himself, but appeared to make a slight mistake. This isn't for points, but if there is a mistake from any of the drivers up ahead, it might end up being a race for points positions. That's 11th versus 12th versus 13th. And we are now on the final lap of the race here at Verano, the Autodromo Riccardo Paletti. So just a couple of corners to go now for Kevin Siggy, and he is going to claim his 9th win from 10. I tell you what, a 90% winning record in any series is a really, really impressive record, and Kevin Siggy is going to hold that after this round, and his winning margin will be 3.5 seconds. What a fantastic race this has been from Kevin Siggy. This is exactly why he deserves the championship and the Griiip G1 test drive. Kevin Siggy wins again, as he has done at almost every single race that we've seen here in the Griiip G1. Kevin Siggy Rebenak has won, followed by Daniele Pasquale. Danilo Smerillo is third. Bernard Vella is going to be fourth, followed by William Zabini. And actually, that got very close at the end there, less than half a second between them. One more lap, and Zabini may have had an attack at Bernard Vella. Then it's Avi Markovic, Ross McFarlane, Dean Vella, Michael Santos, Gianluigi Carrao, Daniel Streamer just outside of the points. Incidentally, we're just waiting for some of those drivers to finish. Santos there just crossing the line to finish 9th, and Carrao about to claim the final point in 10th position. And then just outside of the points is going to be Daniel Streamer. He's in the final chicane now. There he goes, and that's going to be a disappointing result for Daniel Streamer, who had a couple of spins, I believe 3 spins in total in the space of 10 minutes. So disappointing for him. Joseph Stavari is 12th. We're waiting for Yuri Mastro Martino in 13th position, and I do not believe that Federico Ubaldi or Filippo Characciati finished. So that is the end of race 2 here, but don't go anywhere, because we have a couple of interviews coming up, including one with the newly crowned champion, Kevin Siggy. Do not go anywhere. So we're just waiting for the interviews to start. The drivers will be cooling down at this point in time. They'll be allowing their heart rates to go down. They'll be getting themselves a drink and putting their feet up and preparing to speak with us in the interview channel. But yeah, what a performance this has been from Kevin Siggy. I can't wait to see him driving the actual Griiip G1 car when he tests that. I believe that track will actually be. That test will actually be at the Verano track, which is where we were testing here today. So anyway, let's start with our newly crowned champion, Kevin Siggy. Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
So, Kevin, when you won the first race, were you aware that you had been crowned champion?
Oh, hell no. I knew that I was going to fight for it, but I didn't really know that I was going to be crowned champion, because, anything can happen in any race, with Pasquale winning, me winning, Kamil winning, or anything happening to us. But yeah, it was a surprise after a couple of races that I may win the championship.
I must say, Kevin, you put on such an impressive performance today, with fastest lap in both races, with pole position in both races, and with 2 wins. That's a 6 out of 6 in just one day, as well as your 90% winning record. Why are you so quick?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it might be the setup. It was just that first click in the setup from it was Imola, I think. Yeah. That was the first iteration of the setup, and I'll just think gradually improve it. And I think that was just the main point of me being fast, coupling it up with a bit of skill and talent and everything. But I think the setup did a lot of work in the whole championship, and it carried me a bit.
Thank you very much. So in terms of the championship, now that you've claimed it, now that you've mathematically sealed it, that means that you are going to be testing a Griiip G1 car later on this year. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's going to be amazing actually, because I've never driven a an open wheeler before. I only driven karts and a couple of older cars in real life. So it's going to be a privilege, especially maybe even meeting up with the previous year's world champion of Griiip. So that should be.
Absolutely, it will be. I am so happy for you. And yeah, to win a championship in this style, surely winning both races with 2 pole positions is exactly the way you would have wanted to do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's my main focus for the last race as well, because it's not the end of the season yet. So I'll try and keep going and do the best as I can in the final race.
Fantastic. Next year, of course, or next season, we will be heading on to R Factor 2, which is a sim you know well from your Jeep VWC efforts over there on the R Factor 2 sim. How do you feel about competing and defending your crown on that simulator as well?
Oof. It's gonna be, I think, a bit harder. Not too sure. Maybe it's not gonna be that hard, but I'm still gonna try my best and do try and win the championship in the next year if I sign up for it, if I have the schedule. And yeah, I think I have the chances there as well, because both sims I'm pretty familiar with, and yeah, pretty positive about it.
Well, thank you very much. So before we move on to someone else, is there anyone you'd like to thank for your championship success or anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, basically every supporter that supported me throughout the championship, and of course the team. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have anyone else pretty much. And yeah, I think I was the only one making the setups and everything. I was just driving by myself, but still, I'm thankful for every support from the team and the family, etc.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin, and we will see you next time out. Congratulations on both wins and your championship.
Thank you, mate.
So we move on now to the driver who finished second in both races. We're going to need a little bit of translating here from Adrian, if you're ready. But this is Daniele. Ciao, Daniele.
Ciao, buonasera a tutti.
Hello. So, first of all, if Adrian could translate this, you qualified second in both races. You finished second in both races. That's not a bad result, but at the same time, Kevin Siggy was just untouchable. Do you think there's anything else you could have done?
Allora, buonasera Daniele. Allora, ha detto che eri consistente, ovviamente sei venuto secondo in tutte e due le gare. Come ti senti adesso? Ovviamente che eri abbastanza consistente così anche durante il campionato.
Niente, vabbè, certo, quando uno gareggia piace sempre, prova sempre ad arrivare primo, però ovviamente non si corre da soli. Kevin è stato più bravo di me nel tutto l'arco del campionato, quindi vittoria meritata, complimenti a lui. Cercherò di fare meglio magari nelle prossime occasioni.
So actually, what he said is like when you race, you want always to be first, but obviously enough, you don't race alone. He did his best. Obviously enough, he will definitely try to do better in the coming races and seasons. And also, obviously, he's saying very, he said like, well done to Kevin.
That's fantastic. I also want to bring up the qualifying sessions just quickly, because Daniele showed some real pace there, being the quickest Morningstar's Academy car by far. But in the second qualifying session there, he definitely looked on for pole until a couple of drivers held him up. When you've had a session like that, where you know you could have done better, and then you have a race where you run completely on your own. Is it sometimes difficult to maintain concentration and enthusiasm for what you're doing right then?
Allora, stiamo dicendo, parlando adesso delle qualifiche. Eri uno dei più veloci, se non il più veloce pure nella seconda qualifica. C'era pure la possibilità di prendere la pole nella seconda qualifica, ma ovviamente hai trovato traffico davanti a te. E come ti senti quando ti trovi in questa situazione? Se è una situazione un po' frustrante e se ti toglie un po' pure il concentramento per la gara.
No, però certo, traffico mentre sei nel giro veloce, i iniziali sono buoni, dà fastidio, però fa parte delle corse, quindi si accetta. Certo, magari frustra un po' di più perché magari purtroppo ci sono alcuni piloti che rispetto ai primi avevano un gap veramente grande, quindi su una pista di 1 minuto, cioè prendevi spazio di mezza pista, 3 curve e te li ritrovavi di nuovo sotto. Però vabbè, si accetta e fa parte del gioco.
So actually, yes, it's a bit. He said it's quite a little frustrating when you know that you're going and even going on your fastest lap, and find traffic in front of you. Unfortunately, it's a 1 minute track, so you managed to go over some slow drivers, but obviously you'll find them again. But obviously enough, he said it's like, yes, it's frustrating, but it's part of the game, you know.
All right. Well, grazie Daniele, and we will see you next time, mate.
Grazie a voi, alla prossima.
Thank you very much. So moving on now to another driver who we're going to have to do a little bit of translating for, and that is Danilo Smrilio. Ciao, Danilo.
Ciao a tutti, buonasera.
There we go. So for Danilo Smrilio, you qualified third place both times. So some quite good pace. It must be really frustrating when things go wrong, like at turn 1 in race 1. Talk us through what happened there.
Allora, eri abbastanza veloce pure e poi pure qualcosa è successo nella prima curva della prima gara. Se ci puoi dire cosa è successo esattamente?
Ma sì, nelle qualifiche sono riuscito a trovare fortunatamente pista libera, sono riuscito a fare il mio tempo migliore, a migliorare il mio best assoluto di tutte le prove. Purtroppo in gara 1 sono arrivato affiancato a McFarlane, pare, alla prima curva, e passando esterno ho preso un piccolo dosso e la macchina ha perso aderenza e mi sono girato. Mi dispiace aver rovinato anche la sua gara, perché gli sono praticamente andato addosso girandomi e non volevo sicuramente colpire. Mi sono rifatto poi in gara 2.
So actually he's saying yes, he was also lucky during qualifications because he managed to find quite a clear track in front of him, and obviously he could even make a better time, or his best times. And during the race, as he said, in that corner, he was overtaking on the outside. He touched the sausage, and obviously enough, his car lost control. He spun, and obviously enough, he crashed into Ross McFarlane. And obviously, he's also saying he's sorry that obviously enough he ruined also McFarlane's race due to that spin.
Thank you very much, Danilo. In terms of race 2, though, that was a much better race. You didn't have the best of starts again, but fighting back through to third place, you must feel very proud of your podium, seeing as you had to 40 way past a couple of cars for it.
Allora, quando stiamo parlando adesso della seconda gara, ovviamente non era la miglior partenza che potevi avere, ma hai combattuto e ovviamente hai riuscito a prendere il terzo posto e il posto che hai cominciato, hai cominciato la gara. Come ci dici su questa cosa, ovviamente che hai combattuto per riprendere il tuo posto.
Beh sì, la partenza non ho avuto proprio una buona reazione allo spegnimento dei semafori, quindi ho perso accelerazione nel primo rettilineo e per evitare contatti o di girarmi come in gara 1 sono stato molto più cauto, quindi ho lasciato passare Sam McFarlane che Bella, mi pare, non mi ricordo chi è. E poi ho solo cercato di mantenere la calma e cercare un buon ritmo. Davanti poi McFarlane ho visto che ha fatto un errore cercando il sorpasso per la terza posizione, sono riuscito a superarlo mentre era in ghiaia e poi ho notato di avere più ritmo di vella, quindi ho cercato di avvicinarmi il più possibile e alla prima occasione utile ho tentato il sorpasso alla prima curva. Fortunatamente è stato bravo anche lui a lasciarmi lo spazio, non ci siamo toccati e poi da lì ho solo cercato di prendere un po' di vantaggio per non arrivare agli ultimi giri con il pathos della lotta.
So actually, yes, I said that obviously he didn't have a good start. Obviously, after that, not very good start he was cautious because of what happened in the first, race for him. So he was cautious, obviously not enough not to touch and to spin. Then obviously, two cars managed to pass and then he kept calm, he kept the rhythm. Then he saw that McFarlane did that mistake and overtook him, and then he got near to Bernard Vella and obviously found the right occasion to overtake him and take his third place. And obviously, even from Bernard's side, it was like clean and letting him through because he understood he's faster than him.
Thank you very much. Grazie, Danilo.
Prego, buonasera a tutti.
See you later. All right, finally, last but not least, we move on to Avi Markovic, our race 1 third place finisher. Hello, Avi.
Hello.
So, Avi, a podium in race 1. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Talk us through that race, actually, because it was quite a chaotic one in places, especially at the start. You must have had your heart in your mouth when Danilo went shooting across in front of you.
Yeah, it reminded me the previous races. I managed to start in 5th place, and then Danilo crashed into Ross, and I got the 3rd place. And yeah, and from then on, it was a calm race for me. The second race, I was already tired because I made a mistake of practicing too much in the afternoon, and I couldn't pull a fast lap in qualification. And I started in 7th place, and then I was behind William, I think. And I almost overtook him, but I made some mistakes, and he went away.
That's a shame. But anyway, yeah, great result in race 1. And also decent points in race 2 as well. What did you think of the track? Because it was a really quite narrow one. I can imagine trying to actually find a way past someone was pretty irritating at times.
Yeah, I found out that technical tracks are my favorites. I did when I was practicing alone, I did better lap times, but I don't know. Maybe I was tired of practicing too much in the afternoon, and it was an interesting track, very bumpy for the car, very hard to pull to be consistent. But yeah, overall it was okay. Very interesting track.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you.
So that was the lot for today. I've been your commentator, Caitlin Penny. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'm going to hand back over to Adrian Figallo.
So thanks, Caitlin, for being with us. Thanks, Justin, our broadcast director, also today, and George, our second steward. Would like to thank our sponsors, obvious enough. Big thank you to G1, Griiip, Fiverr, Gamers.com, MT, Garmin, and Gaming Malta for supporting World Pro Racing. See you in 2 weeks' time with this series, and obviously keep on following us, and also subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on Facebook so that you'll know our upcoming races and obviously our upcoming championships. Thanks for following and have a good night.
A really good race, really fun. I managed to reach the second place.
For me, the G1 series is really how racing should be done. It's the best place to race professionally, but still keeping close control over the costs.
Driving the G1 is amazing because it's a really powerful car. It's really easy to drive, so you feel immediately connected with the car. La macchina G1 è una macchina estremamente competitiva, anche messa a confronto con le altre categorie, più veloci di un Formula Renault e di un Formula 4.
The braking performance is amazing as well. It's a really good car. I enjoy driving it.
The technologies that Griiip provides me is what makes the series so special. I can access all my data at all times.
And I can also compare the data to other drivers, so I can find my weak points, but also my strong points, and you can improve a lot on the track.
L'altra tecnologia estremamente importante e innovativa è quella relativa alla visibilità, in cui i fan non solo possono seguire la gara live, ma possono seguire il loro pilota preferito grazie ai camera car, grazie alle videocamere che sono installate su ogni vettura.
One of the most unique things in the G1 series is the virtual races.
For every race, we actually race in the same track with the same drivers. When we get to the track, we can get the best out of it.
It's the only series that combines both virtual races and real races in the scoring system.
La G1 Series è un campionato estremamente interessante per tutti quei piloti che vogliono passare dal karting alla monoposto.
For the cost of a karting season, the G1 Series is one of the best places to improve my formula skills before moving on to next levels.
It was truly an amazing year and I just can't wait for next season.
It took 5 days to get client feedback. Now James only has 5 hours until launch. With Fiverr, it only took him 5 minutes to find Stephanie. Fiverr. Connect to a freelancer in under 5 minutes.